Good evening, loves. Tasty Tuesday. How are you guys doing? Welcome to Just Talk with your host, Lavina, Poetic, Empress. And I am coming at you with Nima, ShiningStar L. Yes, we're going to have, thank you guys. How are you guys doing tonight? Thank you for joining. Oh, you guys, wait a minute. Let me put my glasses on because my guest is in the building. Hello, Wordsmith Divine. How are you? Nima, I am an invite so you can come on in the house tonight. Oh, Nima, your screen is dark, sweet. Oh, there. Wait a minute. I think she's there. Hold on. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Just Talk. You lovelies. Okay, now you know this is a new platform for me, so I got to get my little intro together. I'm getting this show together. It's going to be popping in a minute. Um, but this is Just Talk with your host Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with Nima, Shining Star L. How are you doing tonight, sweetie?
Peace and blessings. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. You look beautiful.
Okay. I was having some technical difficulties with this. I'm like, ugh. Okay, great.
I
I'm
know,
glad.
right?
I'm glad.
Now, Nima, thank you for coming on. This show, Just Talk, is about any and everything relating, pertaining to life, pertaining to always choosing to love yourself more, pertaining to creativity, fashion, health, fitness, all those good things. And tonight, I wanted to talk a little bit about what inspires you, or what do you do to be inspired? Because you guys, first of all, Nima is, oh my god, okay, wait a minute, she is an artist. She's a painter, she's a poet, she's a spoken word artist, she is a online hostess of, is it two or three shows, Nima?
Uh, I think
Three.
three.
She has three shows, you guys. She also is an author. Oh my goodness. Her creativity, her gifts, her talents are just phenomenal. And you can see those paintings in her background. Those are paintings that she has painted. And those are all new paintings because before it was a whole different set of paintings up there. Hello, Tammy. How are you doing? TT the Poet. Thank you for joining, sweetie. But Nima, so please share with them, tell them a little bit about yourself and where they can also follow you before we go into what inspires you, or what do you do to get inspired to create.
Okay. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me on here. I'm excited. I was nervous, and we've talked before online, but I was nervous. I came in from work. I scarfed down my dinner.
Oh,
Jumped in the shower, and I was like, okay, let's get it. So thank you first and foremost. Secondly, you guys can find me all over social media. So I'm on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Everything is Nima Shining Star L or Nima underscore L. Everything. You can even find me on YouTube at Nima Girl Productions. I have about 40 or 50 videos. Some of them are PSAs. I like to go into character mode. So some of them are geared towards children with like little dolls, and I'm changing my voice just to give like some lessons to children, um, domestic violence, everything. So just go on YouTube, Nima Shiner Star L, and you definitely will find lots of poetry, books, everything. So thank you.
that is what's up. Tammy said, TT the Poet, TT the Poetic Libra. Me and you, we call her Tammy. She is such a sweetheart. And she's an
Mm-hmm.
excellent poet and
Yep.
author also. She said, Nima is so talented. She loves you. I know. I love her too,
Mwah.
Tammy. She is just
Love
wonderful. But
Tammy is
hmm
beautiful.
hmm
Oh,
and as a matter of fact, she has a show. Nima has a show tonight at 9 p.m. in the art room with
Oh yeah, I
Nima
do. Yeah. Yes,
tonight.
yes, yes. With poetess April J. Armstrong. Yep.
April
So tune
J.
in for that.
Armstrong. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you know I'm going to tune in. But I want to tune into you right now. What
Okay.
inspires you? Because, always choosing to love yourself more and loving ourselves and respecting ourselves. There's some things that like we need to do or um, something we need to do in order to be in tune with that those talents and gifts for them to flow. So what inspires you to get painting and writing and all those good things?
Actually, what inspires me, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, is family. Family and experience. They always say experience is the best teacher. Experience, whether it's good, bad, 50-50, whatever it is, it definitely will hold some life lessons. And family. A lot of my poetry and paintings come from just thinking about my children, thinking about my siblings, my mother, my father, and a lot of my writings as well. But family and experience, and it depends on how I'm feeling emotionally inside. If I'm feeling good, if I'm feeling excited, I use a lot of bright colors and just summer and spring and things like that. If I'm feeling iffy or so or kind of down, then I use a lot of dark colors and and even earth tone. Now, when I use earth tone colors, I don't want to say I'm feeling down, but I'm just feeling like I need to become one with the universe or with Mother Nature. And, they say, Mother Nature, listen, when she's not right, we're not right.
Come on.
So I have to try to get it to.
I like that. I like that. So when you, I'm glad that you touched on being inspired is not always being about a sunny day.
Right.
Inspiration comes in so many different forms. It can be something sometimes traumatic that happened to us that will inspire us to
Yes.
write or to paint or to sing. Um, it can be um, losing a loved one and things of that nature. But I know, do you also believe that releasing that, um, whether it's like you said, joy or sadness during those times, putting that in writing or paintings, does that help relieve the pain or the ache that's going on inside or whatever it is going on inside?
You know what? It's funny that you asked that question because there was a time when I would say yes, it helps me release it into the universe and so forth. But a lot of times when I'm writing, especially when I'm writing, now painting is one thing, but especially when I'm writing, um, sometimes I write and it actually pulls me back into it. I'm trying to release it and it's a beautiful situation, but sometimes it brings it back, and I have to sit and dwell on it for a minute. Now, just think how beautiful the world would be if we all could write and release it into the universe. But how many times, realistically speaking, have you said, I'm going to give it to God? And then you try to handle it by yourself. And you're like, I done messed up again. God, I said I was going to leave it to you. And here I go with my dumbness doing it again. So a lot of times when I write, it may be released, but sometimes I have a pull on it, and I'm like, it's hard for me to let go because I have to work within myself first. Once I work it out, then I can let it go. Sometimes that doesn't, it takes a minute. It doesn't happen right away.
Right. And Nima, I wanted to touch on that what you just said about you thinking we've let it go. Have you ever thought about it might also be because the wound is not healed yet? Yeah,
Absolutely,
because I
absolutely.
know there was a situation um, where my feelings were hurt by my ex-husband, and when I would tell people about it, I would bust out in tears. And then as
Hmm.
time went on, and I kept praying for healing, healing. when I would talk about it, it stopped. I stopped busting out in tears. My heart stopped.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now I can
Mhm.
talk about it, and it's not that it's no big deal, but there's no more pain, associated with it.
Right.
There's
Right.
no,
Right.
like, I can think about it now, and I don't even feel horrible towards him. Like, I still pray
Mhm.
for him, and I've forgiven him for that. Um,
Mhm.
so I like that you said, sometimes you'll go and you'll write about something that happened, and you'll get drawn in. But I think that drawing in is God saying to us, I still need to deal with that wound. It's still open,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. 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 And I love and to each his own. I'm not taking any shots at anybody, but I love when I hear people, like you said, saying, "Oh, just let it go. Don't even think about it anymore." The more you hold on to it, the more it's
Good luck
gonna,
with that.
mess you up. And I'm like, okay, great. Yeah, you want to show me how to do that? It's everybody works at their own pace.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everybody works at their own pace, and there have been so many times where I wrote stuff and didn't realize that it was painful because I'm just writing and I'm flowing. And then
Right.
when I stop and I'm looking at, I'm like, I'm talking about me. Hold it. Let's turn a couple pages back. I forgot. I thought I was writing about somebody else. This is my life. So it takes a minute. You have to definitely pray and you have to meditate and work at your own pace because people will listen. Everybody has an opinion on what you should do with issues and problems and great suggestions and all that good stuff. But you have to work at your own pace, not
Hmm.
somebody else's.
Hmm.
So,
Exactly. Exactly. Um, TT, the poetic Libra, said, once you pray, give it to God, and the pain starts to pass. She said her writing is therapy for her. That's excellent, Tammy. That's excellent. Yeah,
absolutely.
but I totally agree that we have to go at our own pace because some people don't love as deep, um, as
Mm.
others do. Because I'm telling you, the deeper you love, the greater the pain, and it's something because they
Mm.
used to only in church they would always say, the greater the pain, the greater the anointing. I was like, well, what is that? But what that is the
Mm.
deeper the passion, the deeper the love. If you're that
Right.
type of person, the greater the pain, the greater the responsibility of whatever it is that you are called to do in this earth. Or when you love people, you don't just, like, people are like, let them go. What do you mean let them go? I've been loving
Right.
them for all this long time, and you
Right.
just want me to just cut them off and
Right.
that's it? Are you
Right.
serious? You
Right.
know?
Right. I totally understand.
Yeah. So when you're a passionate person, that our love levels are different, and whew.
Mm. You're onto something. You better uh, pin that. Pin that. Love levels. You said it first. Love levels. It sounds like a poem or
Yes.
it sounds like a book,
Yes.
but that's right there. Love levels, honey.
Okay. Yes. I'm telling
Love
you.
levels by Lavina Poetic Empress. Yes, yes.
I know that. Yes, I'm gonna have to write something on that, girl, and post it or something, and because I'm gonna tell you, I could speak for myself on that. Uh the relationships that I've had. Oh my God, I was just like, okay, God, what is the deal with that? The pain that,
Mm,
the severity of it, and whew, I'm talking pain so great that I wanted to just stop living. You understand what I'm talking about?
mm,
Lay down. I literally, after I had my son, my heart was hurting so much that I laid in the bed, and I was like, that's it. And God said to me, oh, no, you're not. Get up. You got that baby. And the baby was weeks
mm.
old. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
And I'm going to tell you, thank God he spoke because I got up. But it is, yeah, the matters of the heart. So, like I say, yeah, those
I
love
totally,
levels are.
I totally understand that. I totally understand that. I went through something way back, and just real briefly, I went through something, and that was the I didn't understand it, and to this day I still don't understand it. But I thought about it a couple of months ago.
Mhm.
A situation happened, and I literally felt like um I was like, is this what it means to have a broken heart? I literally felt like I felt something in my chest snap. Literally, I had never felt that before. I didn't know what was going on. To this day, I don't know what happened, but there was, something happened, and I never forget. It's like something in my chest, in this area where my heart is, literally felt like it snapped, and it scared the crap out of me.
Mhm.
And I said a prayer. I meditated.
Mhm.
I listened to some music. I didn't drink wine back then.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know what I drank. I guess it was juice. It wasn't water. I guess it was juice or some kind of tea.
Mhm.
And I just prayed about it, and that was it. But that was the first time I had ever experienced something like that. And I was like, wait a minute, is this what they mean by my heart is broken? Like, I couldn't eat. I couldn't really sleep.
Mhm.
I kind of like was in my own head, and I was like, okay, got to get out of there.
Yes,
So,
yes, and that's something because when you are going through, because that'll block sometimes your inspiration, your thoughts of what you
right,
want to write or bring forth sometimes when you have all these thoughts
right.
going. And it wasn't, back then I didn't know about deep breathing, to calm my
Mm-hmm.
mind and my heart and my body, because sometimes we can vibrate so high. That's not good for us. You understand? People,
Yes,
when
yes.
people say, your levels of vibration, you don't want your vibration too high. Like even now, I'm in tune as to where I know I'm vibrating too high. I can feel, I'm like, okay, it's not right in my body. I'm unbalanced, you
Okay,
know.
okay, okay.
So I gotta,
Okay.
yeah, breathe, calm down, okay. And then I don't like
Mm-hmm.
hurting people either. So if I've, offended somebody or something, I'm hard on myself. I'm like, and that's the one thing when something happen, I might say something. It might come out uh, not in love, because that's one thing I always
Right.
try to be
Yeah,
mindful
yeah,
of when I speak, because I gotta speak the truth. But I'm like, okay, God, when it's time for me to speak the truth, please help me say it with love, and grace and mercy, so I
yes.
don't offend people, and that sometimes I don't always get it. I don't always, do it like that. So then I'm in my
Right,
head, oh my God, how can I make this right, or should I, you know? So that's when the breathing
right.
comes in. I'm like, because that blocks
Mm.
my flow. And I had to find out that the hard way. One night I was stressed out. I didn't say anything to anybody, but I was stressed out because I was about to perform. But when I first arrived at the place to perform, Nima, it was all these kids. So in my set, there's erotic poetry in my set. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, are these children gonna be here? And then it was like an hour and a half before they even were ready to start the show. Oh my God, I'm freaking out about these kids. And then they told me that I was opening for the actual featured artist that night. I was like, oh my God. When I tell you, girl, I forgot everything.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, I am so embarrassed. And I literally had to say that out of my mouth in order to do my poetry on stage in front of all these people one night. And it was just,
You know,
but I was,
and you're still standing,
girl,
and you made it through,
listen,
and I'm sure it was
listen.
hot.
I was just like, oh my God. But that was the first time well, no. it was the first time I experienced it was the second time I experienced it, but the first time it happened so long ago, I didn't like put it together. So now I know when
Okay.
it's time for me to perform and stuff, I got to be clear. Like I know I can't
Got you.
control
Got you.
stuff, but things that I can manage,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Because girl, I was just like blank. I was like, oh my god.
You know how many times I've been blank performing and ad-libbed and it came out better than what I had written down. And I'm like,
No
I
way.
bet you I can't remember that. I bet you I can't remember that. Like, man, that was dope. I can't remember a thing. I should have recorded it.
Girl,
So
that,
listen, I
but
understand.
that's awesome that you can freestyle. Oh my god.
You know what? I didn't know because I always felt like I was a terrible, terrible freestyler. Because I'm used to writing things
Mm-hmm.
down. I'm used to writing everything down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just happened by accident where I was somewhere and I lost my book because I'm old school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pen and paper. Like some people read over, I'm pen and paper. I'm definitely old school. And I believe I lost my book or it was way in the back on the table. And I'm like, nah, I can't go back there to get my book.
Mm-hmm.
So I saved all of it. And then I remembered a piece of another one and I added that one to that. And then I was like, you know what? I talk to people all the time. Just talk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just speak from your heart and just talk. And it came out better. And afterwards, I was like, I can't remember a thing I just said. So go figure, right? Go figure. But now I try to be prepared. I make sure I write things down. I make sure I have a notebook, have it in my phone, and whatever.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Girl, I know exactly what you mean. I'm just like, is I don't I right now I still memorize and speak my
Mm.
poetry, but I so would love to freestyle sometimes. You know what I mean? But I think it's fear that holds me back from doing that.
Yeah, it's fear with all of us, all of us, all of us. And guess what? You've probably done it a million times and don't even realize that you've done it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, honestly. Honestly. I realized one day that I can freestyle when years ago I got into a situation where and I do not condone violence, thank you very much. I'm a peaceable person. Many, many decades ago. Um uh my cousin and I went somewhere to fight for one of my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And she literally turned her back on us and like blamed us for. I'm like, wait a minute, you're blaming us for coming to help you and you got us out of the house. This could have went all the way to the left. So when we got back to my house, I just automatically start freestyling. And it was about her and it was not pretty. I was saying all kind of stuff. And by the time I finished, I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was like old school, like banging on the table, like,
That's
and
what
I'm just
I,
like going and going and going. By the time I finished, I said, "Oh dear God, please help me." I was like, "I'm done. I'm done." I'm like, man, that was fire. I was like,
okay.
this was way, 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 way back.
That's what's
I was
up.
like, oh.
That's what's up. And it's something, Nima, because like usually my poetry, I don't usually cuss or whatever, but girl, I do I just wait a minute. Hold on. There is a poem that I'm added to my set because I do a 20-minute set when I perform when I have the live
Mhm,
show when I do my show and I'm add this piece to
mhm,
it that has cussing in it because I'm like it's the poem because the poetry I do is about life experiences and things of that nature.
right.
So the poem is me being angry. I'm expressing myself, and then that's how the poem literally came about because you know I'll tell you the men. I mean, not all men, but I'm just saying a guy inspired this poem also, and
Right,
honey,
right.
it's something because it starts off honey hard. buddy.
Oh wow.
Buddy,
We love our kings.
what you say?
We love our kings.
I
We love
do.
them.
Let me tell you something. The first king that I ever loved is my dad. God rest his soul.
Okay.
And when Daddy left, I was angry for years and didn't even know that I was. That's where the anger was coming from. But you know, and then growing up. So growing up angry, I got labeled mean. You know, and yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Because I didn't go looking for trouble, but you know, I was one of them people. Well, if trouble come, I'ma deal with it. I'ma handle it. You know, but like I said, I didn't know until I was like in my 20s when I got saved, and then God dealt with my heart, you know, about all of that. And it took me a long time to forgive my father. And when I did forgive him, I wouldn't let him in. Like, and I miss my dad so much. I missed the phone calls. He called me every day, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. I loved my dad, and I always have because I was the youngest child. He loved all of us, but I was his baby. I used to sleep in his arm, like right between him and my mom.
Oh.
So it took the longest time, and I'm gonna tell you what I wrote a poem because a friend of mine, a male friend of mine, challenged me to write a poem about my dad. And when I got home, I bust out in tears because I was like, God, I can't. But guess what? God said, yes, you can because you respect your dad. And Black Man, Black King came from that, you know. So yeah, so I am really thankful. That's why I say even the poem that I'm going to add to my set that has the cussing in it, I'm still grateful because a king brought it out of me. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's truth. And, you know, sometimes we're not always going to agree with our kings, but we're going to always, but I respect the kings and I still love them, you know. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to the kings. We love you.
Yes. And that's another.
All right, I was gonna say, we love you, Black man.
Yeah, girl, Black Man, Black King, honey. Nothing like them, you know. Literally, nothing like them. So, yes, inspiration, like you said, it comes in so many different forms and lights and in ways that we
yes.
And I believe just being open to it. But what I was going to say about the anger is it's actually a gift. I didn't know it when I was younger, and I know it now. It's just that alchemy. I mean, God taught me to alchemy through it to take that anger and turn it into something beautiful. And that's how I got into poetry. What inspired me was having my heart broken, my feelings hurt by a guy. And I said, I'm going to cuss him out. But it turned out to be a poem. It's actually beautiful. It's titled God Is. So, yeah. So,
come on. Yes. Come on now.
Yeah, God is, he's really good. But I'm going to tell you, now you have a book that is dedicated to kings also. What's the title of that book?
I do, and that's sad because I have some books in front of me and not that one. But the title of that book is called Peace King, Can You Hear Me?
Yeah.
So Peace King, Can You Hear Me? You know.
Yes, that is a beautiful book. And I'm going to say this, any young lady who ends up viewing this video, please check out Nima, ShiningStar. But Nima, what is the book, your name of your book? Because it's on Amazon for sale. What's your name on there if they were to purchase that book?
Nima ShiningStar L. As this Peace King, Can You Hear Me? By Nima ShiningStar L. It's on Amazon. Definitely get it. And it's a book dedicated to Black men all around the world. Because and it's not to take anything away from any other man, any other nationality, ethnicity, whatever.
It's,
it's just that
that's art.
it's my experience.
Yes, that's our
Yes, it's my
experience.
experience.
Yeah.
And I need to let I have black sons. Okay. Whether you say black, African American, Nubian, Nuwapu, Moor, Asiatic, I have black sons. I have a black mate,
Mm-hmm.
I have black nephews and uncles and cousins and friends. And a lot of times they get the rough end of the stick, the bad end of the stick, and unfortunately a lot of times they get blamed for things that are not even their fault.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it twisted. Some are just what they
Mm-hmm.
are, but a lot of them are beautiful,
Yeah.
creative, awesome,
Yes.
spectacular, and we need to remind them and let them know, because sometimes the men that we see out here doing dirt and doing horrible things are those that never had an opportunity to hear you're fantastic, you're loved, you're marvelous, you're beautiful, you're creative, you're necessary.
Yes.
They may have never had a hug, had an opportunity to have a real hug, and they've been raised by gangs or whatever, and those
Mhm.
people become their family and things like that. So this is my dedication of love
Mhm.
to all of those brothers, to say, whether you are behind bars, whether you are wherever you are, if you're doing something negative, you can get out of it. That does not have to be the end result. You're worthy. You're
Yeah.
created in God's image.
Yeah.
When you think about God and you look in the mirror, you see a part of God, because He created us.
Yeah.
And and it comes from a holiday that I created, which is coming up
Mhm.
next month, actually June 8th, called Love Thy Brother Day. Yes, I did create a holiday
That's
especially for black men.
awesome. Now, Nima, are you going to do something in the neighborhood or?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Usually, what I do is I usually do something over social media. Normally, I have a platform, or on Big Woo Radio. I co-host a show called Big Woo Radio, and normally we have a lot of brothers come in and they do poetry. They talk about their businesses. Um, they promote their businesses. They talk about what they're doing in their community and what they plan to do. This year, though, since we kind of loosened up a little bit with the pandemic, I'm out in the streets. So yeah, so yep,
That's what's
yep,
up. Well,
yep,
you
yep, yep,
definitely
yep.
have to post something because I'm only a hop, skip, and a jump away from you.
Yes, 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 yes. I
Okay.
know, and you know what? I am going to post. In actuality, you'll probably get the information before I even post
Okay.
it. Yeah, you'll get the information before I even
Okay.
post it. So
That's
yeah,
what.
because there's always work to do, and I'm one of those people. I'm the person, every job I've ever worked in my life, they know, listen, she is here for the meetings. Yes, she is. But she has her boots laced and she's ready to go. I am not the one to have a meeting about having a meeting. We had the meeting.
Let's do the work.
At the meeting, we took minutes, we took notes. My boots are laced. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's get it.
Exactly.
Y'all can continue to have a meeting, but let me get to work right now. So, that's
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Nima Shining Star L is definitely not just an inspired person, but she's an inspiration because I'm telling you,
oh,
I love her. I love her work. She is
mm,
phenomenal. She is a phenomenal
I love you
woman
back.
and a phenomenal artist, a phenomenal creative. And I thank you so much for taking the time before your show tonight to come on here and talk with me. I so appreciate
Thank
you
you
and
so
you.
much. I appreciate you inviting me. Guys, that woman right there, you see how fly she is, right? You see how beautiful she is, right? She has a lot going on, okay? Check her out. I've never met her in person, okay? Or Tammy for that matter. But the energy, the vibe, the conversations, the phone calls, the text messages, you just get it. You just get it. You know what I mean? You know and you get it. So I cannot wait to see this woman in person so I can wrap my arms around her. And yes, I'm fully vaccinated, but we ain't going to get into all of that because that's another story. And boosted, but we ain't getting into that versus or not, whatever. But I cannot wait to wrap my arms around this woman. So thank you so much for having me. And I love you too. And I love you back. And I appreciate being here.
Yes, 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 definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Just Talk with Nima Shining Star L, my
Thank
first
you.
official guest on this
Yes.
wonderful show about always choosing to love yourself more. Be inspired, be inspirational. God loves us all. Thank you, Nima.
Thank
Mwah.
you. Love
Love you
you.
too. All right. Thank you guys for joining. I will be here next Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Just Talk with Lavina, Poetic, Empress. And my guest next week will be Dr. Carol. So I'll see you guys then. Thank you again. Mwah.